Today I'm going to show you how I built this lighthouse model. Here's a picture of the lighthouse from a postcard showing the coloring that is in the kit actually. Here's a photograph upon which that earlier drawing may have been based. The lighthouse is now dilapidated. It's on the shores of Lake Superior near Duluth. I'm going to start with an unboxing video, and then I'll show you some of the highlights of the construction and follow it with a video and some photographs of the finished model. But here's the last shot, kind of the desolate scene that currently is there. All right, well, let's do a quick unboxing of this Shipyard Marine Minnesota Point United States Lighthouse. Now, the first thing that needs to be pointed out is that Modelers Expo, or Model Expo, I can't remember the name of the distributor that I got this from, but I will put it in the comments and I'll try to splash it up on the screen here. They advertise this as HO scale and it's 1/72 scale. So I'm a 1/72 scale modeler. I'm really interested in seeing what this kit's like, so I'm not returning it. But if you wanted this for your HO layout, that would be a problem. Now, the first thing that you'll note is the box is wrapped in a hard plastic shell. Never seen anything like this before. Pretty seriously packaged. So I'm going to open up this kind of clear plastic box and we'll pull the cardboard box out. And now we'll see what is inside. Well, I thought it might be a paper kit, and it appears that it might be, but we'll see. This is instructions. Now this, these little boxes on the side are, I believe, contain like paints and scenery material. Okay, so here we go. So here is some sand. We've got some ground cover. Got a few little wire, little detail parts for the lighthouse. We've got some sand and some brushes. Interesting. So this looks like it would be kind of a complete paint kit for someone who wanted to make a model of this, a complete model kit rather, with materials. And so here are your paints: white, cream, a reddish brown, and black. All right, here are the instructions. Again, these are individually sealed and clearly labeled 1/72 scale. I don't know if you can see that. 1/72 scale, 1/72 scale. Okay, and here is the model itself, which is a laser cut. I'm not sure what that material is that it's made out of. Looks like possibly laser board. We'll see. Not sure how we're going to make a cylinder out of laser board. So there's one sheet of clear, very thin acetate. Hopefully you can see that for the windows. And then that's obviously a central hub with, this is a center column, and then these undoubtedly made around the outside, so you're going to have circles. Aha, okay, here we go. Here is the outside skin of the lighthouse, and it's laser cut out of very thin board, so I imagine it can bend around. So this is going to be an interesting little build. Hopefully you can see that. There's some stanchions for the railing around the parapet of the lighthouse, very finely cut out. This must be a base. So, wow, gonna be a fun build. Primary construction of the tower, as I indicated at the beginning of the video, involves creating a cylindrical superstructure, which you can see here, and you're going to wrap the skin of the lighthouse around it. And you can see there are notches for the windows. You can see that in the second rib down there. There's a notch. That's where a window is going to go. The instructions on this kit were, you can see here the basic assembly, which involves layering a lot of laser cut discs to create forms, and the instructions really leave a lot to be desired, I'm sorry to say. One of the things that it did not point out was how to make sure you were going to line that skin up as you're wrapping it around the superstructure. And I determined that there was a vertical rib that was going to be at the halfway point in the wrap. And so I identified the midpoint of the skin, and then I knew I could start gluing there. However, I really thought that it was probably going to be really hard to make sure there was a perfect lineup between the windows and the openings in the skin for the windows, so I opted to glue the windows onto the inside of the skin before wrapping it. The doorway, as you can see here, I opted to glue in place because it needed to be glued to the bottom of rib, or whatever that bottom circle is on the base of the superstructure, and so I went ahead and glued that in place on the superstructure as opposed to on the wrap, on the skin. So here you see I've already glued my midpoint to that one rib, and I'm getting ready to wrap the skin around the tower. And you can see how the windows are lining up there, and it ultimately lined up pretty well. As you can see here, I'm finishing the wrap, and I was just kind of gluing it a little bit at a time and wrapping as I went around. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of a gap, and so what I did was I layered on a piece of copy paper over that gap to cover it up. I just couldn't imagine how I was going to fill that gap. Sanding on paper-thin laser board just wasn't going to be possible. You can see on the base there's a little bit, it didn't wrap completely correctly, but it was pretty close, and so, it is what it is. You might be able to see it here, but there's actually a door in the top of the tower, and the internal parts need to line up carefully for that door, and the instructions were very unclear about this as well. Here is the completed model. I'm not totally dissatisfied with how it came out. It was kind of fun to explore the different materials that were being used. So, and it's a very unusual subject. So I really, I did enjoy putting it together. Even though it doesn't have the finished look of a more shake the box kind of plastic kit or something like that, it's still, it's a very unique subject, probably not going to be made available any other way. So while I can't recommend it completely, I did enjoy the project. The weird thing about this model is that it was packaged up like it was for a beginner or an inexperienced person because it provided so many tools and materials, but the instructions were absolutely terrible, and only an experienced modeler would be able to really overcome those shortcomings and actually enjoy overcoming those shortcomings. And so I really think they need to work on making their instructions better if they want this kit to be a success. That's it until next time. Bob Johnson with PK&W Model Works signing off. Keep on modeling.